This is an international podcast transmission. Is anyone out there? If you're listening, you've reached the No Fixed Agenda podcast.
Groosfaba. Woosfaba. There was like a saying in a fucking movie, dude.
No, it's woosa.
Is it? No, it's not. No.
Yeah, it's woosa.
No, there's another one, dude. I'm swear to God, I'm gonna
woosa.
I understand.
It was woosa. They would rub their ears.
Yes.
Woosa.
But
Yeah.
there's another one, dude. There's another one.
I don't know, man.
All
I know is
you're older than me. You should fucking know this.
It's woosa. It's woosa. It was in Bad Boys. The chief of police used to do it, woosa, and then Martin Lawrence started doing it,
Woosa. Yeah.
See? All right.
Bad boys.
What do you guys think? Is it woosa?
Or Groosfaba. Roosfaba. What? I don't even know what mine is. See, I'm fucking it up,
You're
dude.
fucking wrong.
No, I could be wrong, dude. You know what? I could be wrong.
Well, I tell you what, let's woosa our way to the start of this podcast.
Yes.
Welcome back, everybody, to No Fixed Agenda and Omar's woosa moment.
No, it's not Woosa. It's it's Woosfaba. It's Groosfaba. Yeah. See, yeah, you know what?
If
dude?
you want to say
Whatever,
that,
bro. Whatever.
Cool,
you know,
man.
hey, look, I'm Mexican.
I'm
bro.
not here to argue.
Yeah, you are. You always are.
I always always. Well, today we've got Kody Riley.
Yeah.
Now, Kody is an old friend of mine. We know each other from 2008, 2009 timeframe when he used to work for Izumi and Izumi Running Shoes and the Ultra Team. And now Kody is the owner of Death March Running Company, and he also is the president of Podium Karting and Events in Denver. So we found out really quick, that Cody's a yes man.
Yes. And if you haven't seen the movie with
Jim Carrey.
You got to go see that.
Yeah.
And his character is Cody.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. And Kody attributes some of his success to saying yes and not being afraid to fail, which was awesome.
Dude.
And it says a lot about who he is. And I'm not lying to you. Like that dude has been a part of a successful business or corporation for ever since I've known him. And it's kind of one of those things that just kind of leans into, I think he puts himself out there, right?
He always says yes to, I mean, he's not afraid to fail fast and fail forward, dude. 100%. And I think that was the immediate thing that I picked. I had not met Cody prior to interviewing him on the podcast. And I was like, and for me, when I interview somebody, I immediately want to just get to know, like, what makes this person tick? And I immediately was picking up like, dude, you're the yes man, bro. You are the guy that says yes to pretty much. He goes, yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And it was interesting to hear his failures and where he went down a path. He was like, nope, that wasn't for me. If you are young and listening to this podcast and thinking about becoming an entrepreneur, or if you're old and thinking about it and you played it safe for your entire life, this is the episode for you, because Cody will show you that it's okay to fail. It's okay to fail often. It's okay to fall forward and fail forward. Yeah, that's how I think he's become this amazing person. And he talked about his relationships a lot.
What's made him the person he is, right? Is the relationships that he's built and maintained his relationship now with his wife and his kids. Yeah. It's awesome. And the support that he's received from everybody along the way has been amazing. So his story is really cool. And from a trail race director and from a trail runner, to see him like start this pretty much a trail running company out of nowhere just because of the love of something and just the ridiculousness of the position he was in mentally, trying to get through an event and doing the death march through a 100-mile race. It just kind of shows that they do have something really special. They do have really good products, and again, it comes down to Cody screen prints everything in his basement. So it's one of those things where, again, don't be afraid if you're an entrepreneur or if you're a business owner to do the dirty work as well as some
mop
of this.
The floors,
exactly,
print the shirts,
exactly,
clean the bathroom, scrub the toilet, vacuum, all the things. So.
Yeah, man. So it's fun. It's a fun episode. I hope you guys enjoy. So let's just get right into it.
This is No Fixed Agenda, brought to you by Bubs Natural. Their mission statement is simple: live better, live longer. Bubs helps fuel people to reach their maximum human potential through supplements sourced from nature's highest quality ingredients, while giving 10% of all proceeds back to charity. Learn more about their NSF sports certified collagen peptides and electrolyte drink mix at bubsnaturals.com.
Dude, what a fucking morning. Sorry, guys. Jesus. We closed today. We closed the office to take all of our employees to Elitch Gardens, the theme park out here in Denver. And then I started getting sick like just over a day ago. My throat, I can't swallow at all. So I take a COVID test. It's negative. And then she's getting in for a strep test. So I'm waiting for that. And then, as I told Jeff at the same time, we're having plumbing issues here. So I've got a fucking plumber coming in and he's, it'll be between 8 and 10. And I'm like, oh, they're always late. It's going to be 10. And he's, I'm going to be there in 20 minutes. And that was 25 minutes ago. Of course. Still not here. So I was like, God, just fucking, I can't get anything to click right now.
So first of all, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Omar was asking me, like, what's Cody's deal? And I said, that could be a loaded question. I don't know, depending on who you ask. But yeah, I was telling him that you and I have known each other for years. And it goes back to when you were at Pearl Izumi doing that stuff. And I know we've talked about this before, and I was trying to remember the date. You were at Pearl, what?
I joined Pearl in 2008.
Yeah, so it must have been like right after you.
Probably almost immediately after I started there.
Yeah, it must have been 8 or 9.
Yeah,
because I was still doing a lot of activation stuff with Jelly Belly and
slinging some jelly beans and doing a bunch of stuff for Pearl Izumi.
Real quick, as we do with a lot of people that maybe not know who you are, we like to do maybe more of a Tinder business profile. What would your
Tinder business profile? We like that.
What would that say in the catch line?
Dang, that's a good question. What's crazy? I don't even know what Tinder profiles look like. I've never been on.
Yeah, we say the same shit. We're like, we're like, do you swipe right or left? Which one means that you want to like keep talking and the other one's not? We didn't even know that.
Yeah, so I've never been on one. I don't even know what it looks like. I guess a tagline, if I was going to have a business Tinder.
Yeah,
man. Oh God, I don't even know where I'd go there. There's so many random tangents. It would have to say something about girl dad that loves running and hot dogs.
There you go.
All right. See right there.
Yeah.
That's a quick profile tag. That's fine. I will say that's one of the worst answers that we've had. One of the most generic ones, but I won't hold that against you.
No, right. I may later on, but that's okay.
Yeah, no, I expect it. That's funny.
We wanted to, as we have with most people that we've had on here, this is always a great open conversation, and you in yourself have story after story that you and I have chatted about. And I know the business side of things. I was just telling Omar before you jumped on, I've actually, ever since I've known you, I've never actually ever seen you been in a bad business situation. It seems like you're always putting yourself in a position where it's a successful position, right? Pearl Izumi, it was a great position. And then you got
what was Pearl Izumi?
Oh yeah, you probably.
I don't even know what Pearl Izumi is.
So for anybody who's not into the cycling, because it's most likely cycling now. It used to be when Cody was with it was running. I'll let Cody explain it, but it was. I still think to this day, Code, some of the best running shoes.
Oh, I totally agree.
Fucking down. Yeah. Yes, I wish that their running shoes had never gone away.
They're not. They don't exist anymore.
No, Cody can explain a little bit. But man, they had the best shoe
hands down, they were the best. Yeah. So Pearl Izumi nowadays is a cycling apparel company, and it really always was. That was the root of the company, the genesis of it, and how it was started. They did quickly evolve into doing more endurance sports than just cycling. They got into running and triathlon. It was just soft goods, just apparel, no hard goods, no like bikes or anything like that. But yeah, they were in running, road running, trail running for a while. There was a professional trail running team that was one of the best ever trail running teams out there. But while I was still there, Shimano, right when I started, purchased Pearl Izumi. And after a while, when you're competing against Nike or an ASICS or all of these massive run companies just trying to gain market share in run, it was just an uphill battle that Shimano at that time just said, look, we're done. We know that we own cycling. Let's refocus there. Let's make the best cycling apparel that we can for Pearl Izumi. And they got out of run completely, which was tough for me. I was never really a big cyclist while I was there. I rode occasionally and for fun, but I was a runner. So that kind of gutted me when they got out of run. Not the reason I left by any means, but while they were in the industry, man, you get onto some of the blogs or you go down a Reddit rabbit hole of like trail running shoes. People are obsessed with Pearl Izumi shoes. People still have unopened boxes of shoes that there was just waiting to open up and take out. It's wild. It's crazy. I've never seen anything like it.
And what was your role there at Pearl Izumi? Yeah. You owned them?
No. So what's interesting is, just a quick little backstory is, originally from South Dakota. I went to college at University of South Dakota. 9/11 happened. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I figured, hell, I can join the military. I joined the military, was in for 4 years, got an engineering degree, worked on long-range search radars, traveled around, ended up in D.C. for a while, and then wanted to come back out west, just sick of the East Coast. I moved to Colorado with no job. I was running an outdoor company in D.C. right before I left in Pearl Izumi. I knew they were based in at the time Broomfield and then Louisville, Colorado. And so I went and applied to every job they had available. And I was hired as the receptionist. So I worked the front desk.
Wait, I didn't know you were a receptionist there. Really?
Yeah, man. I worked the front desk. So you to segue back, and we'll get back there to how you feel. And I appreciate you saying this, is that I've always been a part of like business success. And really it's just surrounding myself with people. I'm just like you guys. I'm a people person. I love to talk to people. I love more than anything to connect to people. And it's just that will take you so far if you're genuine and nice and just want to talk to people. But so I was the receptionist for 5 months, and then a marketing position opened. I was trying everything I could to get into marketing. I was always going to Jeff Shaver, asking him if I can help with projects. Eventually, I got brought on as the marketing coordinator after about 5 months. And now I was there for almost 12 years. So I steadily just rose the ranks in marketing. And really the reason I left, there's a couple of reasons, but one is Jeff, who I love to work for. And at that point in time, he was the VP of marketing. He'd been there longer than me. He was never leaving. So for me to really take that next step and become a VP, I had to go somewhere else. And so I left there. And fortunately, a guy that I am friends with and play tennis with owns a go-karting facility, which is where I'm sitting right now. So I came on here almost 6 years ago now as the VP of marketing. But after the first year, I took over as president. And so I've been the president of what used to be Unser Karting and Events, but is now Podium Karting and Events. But again, to segue back, Jeff, I've been very fortunate, and I really do attribute it to just being willing to talk to people. But man, I was a locksmith. I was a crime scene investigator. I've had all these, I ran an outdoor company.
Circle back to that.
Crime scene investigator. He schemed over that real quick.
Hold on. Crime scene investigator. Wait, I had no idea.
So you went from receptionist to crime scene investigator?
Well, that was before my Pearl Izumi. So that was after the military. I was living in Florida. So there was, I did not deserve this job. I interviewed for a crime scene investigator position. I did some stuff in the military, and we can get to that later, but where I thought maybe I had some experience. I didn't. Honestly, I was interviewed by the sergeant at the sheriff's office, Escambia County, Florida, in Pensacola, Florida. And he was prior military, and we just hit it off. And he's like, you need to work here. And I was like, yeah, I did. Yes. Tell me what I need to do.
Let me guess. He was in the same branch as you were.
He was not in the same branch. No.
Really? That's insane.
Yeah.
So what branch did you serve in?
I was in the Air Force. Yeah.
Okay.
No, yeah. But yeah, so I did that for a couple of years, and we can get into this. I left that because the sheriff's office was really corrupt. Like, I'm talking, the sheriff, I think, was indicted after I left for embezzlement, You didn't hear me say this. I'm on a podcast. You did hear me say this. There was shit taken from crime scenes. I'm talking like money and drugs. And this is crazy. I need to not be a part of this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was wild.
Florida.
Hey, dude, I don't think it's just in Florida, man. It's been happening for decades and all over the world, bro. Like, but yeah.
Anytime you can blame Florida for anything.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Florida, man. Yeah.
100%. Weirdos down in the friggin' bayou or whatever.
Yeah, it is one of those things. Like I love that you say the customer service aspect of it. And I was watching Jesse Itzler's, I was looking at Jesse Itzler's Instagram. You guys know who Jesse Itzler is, right?
Yeah.
He started a number of different companies and a private jet company.
Wow.
Now he's a huge motivational speaker, so on and so forth. Scrolling through his Instagram last night, and he posted something about customer service, and really it's all about just talking to people and just having that one relationship. If somebody says, "Hey, how you doing today?" and you go, "Good," and you just give me good feedback, but you're like, you know what? Good. Thank you very much for asking. Appreciate it. And then
I'm usually honest when people ask me that question, but I'm like unfiltered honest.
But
bro.
But it's that communication that we're talking about, where you don't really want to shy away from talking to people. Right? Cody said he loves talking to people, just like you and I do.
Yeah. That's the thing.
It gets you a lot. It gets you a lot of places.
It does open a whole lot of doors. That a lot of people that I coach and mentored early on in my logistics career that was the number one tip.
Yeah.
I always said, I know shit. I know nothing. Like, I'm an idiot. Like, I should not be running this facility. Like, I got the keys and I got all the codes, man. I don't think I should be doing that. But the only reason why I got there was because I shook somebody's hand and I made them laugh, or because I got to know who they were, or because it's who I knew. It's not what I knew. I later on learned what I knew after being in the role. So I think you're spot on by that.
Yeah, just being willing to empathize with people, connect with people, talk with people. I attribute it to where I've gotten in my life, for sure.
Absolutely. So go back. So you left the sheriff's. How old are you at this point?
So I'm in my late 20s at that point.
Okay. All right. And then you left the sheriff's office. And when did you become? This says a lot about you, by the way, because I'm learning so much about. You could be a receptionist. You can go to the police department, be a forensics person. Yep. And now, when did all that happen? So you left the police department. What'd you do then?
Yeah, so I left the sheriff's office in Florida, and one of my best friends down there owned a locksmith company. This is crazy. And so we would shoot the shit. We'd go out to drinks, whatever. And he's on call 24 hours, and he'd get a call, and I'd go with him. I'd ride with him, and eventually he's like, do you want to try unlocking a car? And I'm like, are you kidding me? Yes. Here we go. And so I would just
break in for real.
Yeah. You know what Cody reminds me of right now, dude? The freaking, what's the guy that police inspector? What's his name? Freaking
Pet Detective Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey. He shot a movie that said it was like the Yes Man.
The Yes Man.
This is Cody right here, bro.
Dude. Absolutely. Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I like that.
Do you want to be a forensic officer? Yes. Do you want to be a friend? Yes.
Hey.
Do you want to learn how to be a locksmith? Yes.
I just like learning new things, and I'm not afraid to fail, I guess, is a big thing. Look, I'm not going to be perfect. I'm not going to be the best at everything, but fuck, I would love to learn. I love to look at things and figure them out. And so, yeah, when he was like, do you want to try this? Absolutely. At that point in time, when I knew I was leaving the sheriff's office, John, he's like, do you want to work for me? Yeah, sure. Let's do this. So, locksmith for a couple of years down in Pensacola as well. Shout out to Ace Unlocks. They're still down there and crushing it. But yeah, and then I started dating a girl. She was moving up to DC, which is the whole reason that I moved to DC. And same, there's a company that was like an REI, Hudson Trail Outfitters is what it was called. They actually just, I think, went bankrupt. They went out of business during COVID, or maybe just before. But yeah, there was a store right by where I was moving. So I walked in, I was like, hey, are you guys hiring? Got a job there and quickly became the merch manager. Then eventually worked my way after about 8 or 9 months into the GM. And so the GM of Hudson Trail Outfitters for, again, a couple of years until I decided that I didn't want to stay in DC anymore. Yeah.
So you left DC and where'd you go?
Colorado. All right. Here's the thing: is I was originally not going to come to Colorado. I was going to go to Alaska. While I was in, my best friend in the world, his brother was in the military, got out, retired out of Alaska. There was a race, the Humpies Marathon in Anchorage, and we wanted to go out, visit him for a couple of weeks, run this, and so we went out there and. We're fishing on the Russian River, like having a blast. We ate at this greasy little spoon outside of Seward, Alaska. And the day or 2 days before this marathon, I decided that I want this gross, which looked epic, burger with chili and cheese on it. And I got food poisoning. And I literally shit and puked my way through the entire race. Every porta potty, like it was bad. It was so bad that I was like, I can't move to Alaska like this. No, I'm not coming back here. It just burned a bad memory in my head. And so I was like,
chili cheeseburger, baby.
Here's the thing, I will say, don't knock the cheeseburger because every 100 miler that I run, I eat a cheeseburger the night before and I finished every 100 miler. Right? Now, I won't try it before a marathon again though. Screw that. Nope, not happening. You have to run too hard. You have to run too hard in the marathon. They're much harder.
Oh no!
Really?
Yes. Oh yeah.
I marathon.
So I agree with that. So I would even say a half marathon is in that category too.
Really?
Versus a longer ultra.
You guys might be convincing me to do a longer race, dude. That's all I'm saying.
I'll do one with you.
Yeah.
I'm right with Cody. When you're doing something that's 50 mile or 100 mile, you're not having to be on a 8 to 9 minute mile pace the entire time. If you end up getting to a point where it's like, hey, I need to walk for 3 miles and you're doing a 20-minute pace, fuck it. You're still moving forward, right? Versus the marathon, like a lot of those guys or anybody who's doing it feels like they got to run the entire thing and get done by a certain point. And you always have those course time frames. Oh, you've got to be done by 6 hours. You got to be done by 8 hours, whatever it is. And for a lot of people that are run walkers, they're like busting their ass even harder to get to the finish line to beat that. Whereas 100 miles is, hey, you've got 48 hours to do this thing or whatever it is. And so here you go. So I agree with that sentiment. Yeah. Exactly.
Marathons are much harder.
I always envision like 50 Ks, 100 milers, all those things over a marathon. You're like, fuck that, dude. That must be nuts.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm definitely not saying that 100 miles are easy.
Oh,
and not that, and
they're just easier than a marathon.
First of all, everybody who knows me knows that I will never do 100 miles. They know that I'll never do a marathon. To be honest with you. But
that sounds like a stupid shit of the week.
Yeah,
these days.
I don't take anything away from the 100 mile or any runner. Yeah. Let me just put that out there. My trail running community would kill me if I didn't say that. So
I could talk all the shit about long races all day long because first of all, I have no desire to do them, but I probably will do one before I die or two, depends. But yeah, I can talk all the shit if you want.
Yeah. No, and to exactly what you said, Jeff, it's just 100 milers are fucking hard, but marathons, you have to race. You're running hard the entire time. Man, I stopped at aid stations. I drank some beer. I ate some quesadillas and some Snickers bars, and you're chilling.
Let's put this into like I want to kind of go on it. And this kind of leads me, and this is a good segue, Cody, to I want to talk about Death March Running Company more than anything else, because what you guys are doing there is awesome. And I think Omar will really appreciate this story in itself. But we talk about that's the thing with 100 miles, like aid stations. I was talking to Andrew Glaze months ago, and we were talking about international races versus American races. And we were talking about the differences in aid stations. You know, over in Asia, if you go, or Japan, if you go over there, like they serve you like really good fish and sushi and like good noodles and everything else at aid stations. Whereas here, like US, you get like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and soups,
chips, and
chips.
Hot dogs,
so
greasy ass chili cheeseburgers.
Exactly.
That leads me into the Death March Running Company.
Yeah,
because I want to talk about this. And by the way, I'm sure you.
Dude, I see you sporting that hat. Thank you.
I'm representing, man. It's
Hell yes.
I gotta show the love too.
You've been wearing for the last couple of days, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I was getting prepped. So the Death March Running Company, I want you to talk a lot about this because I think this has been an interesting thing that you and Alan and Taylor have created with it. And this goes back to your willingness to your trail running background for you guys, but your willingness to say yes.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna get into right here.
So leading into Omar's analogy of the yes man, I think that's
your new nickname, Cody, by the way, dude. You're the yes man, bro.
I think this is the epitome of the yes man scenario. So I give Omar and give our listeners like the start up of Death March Running Company.
Yeah, no. So as Jeff alluded to very early on, he and I have known each other for many years, and the genesis of our friendship started at Pearl Izumi. And I, at one point in time, was managing all of our events and going out to half marathons. And I was interested in running at that point in time, more road running. And then I took over. We created an ultra running team, and I was thrown into this world of trail running and ultra running, but a different aspect of it because you're around all these pro athletes that are just the top of their sport. But I was getting to go to some of these races and seeing that it's 100 milers. It's not only for pro athletes. There's everyday people. Literally, there are 70-year-old men that are trying to finish their 50th 100 miler. It's the full gamut of everybody. And there's that, and there's just this community around ultra that everybody is there for each other, to support each other. Everybody loves running. And it's just this cool subculture that I really just fell in love with. And it was always like, there's no way I could ever run one of these races, but I love being a part of it. And it gradually changed into, shit, maybe I can. Maybe I should try this. I think I can try running 50 miles. I don't know about 100, but at one point in time, I'm having breakfast with my buddy Alan. I know that I'm from South Dakota. There's the Black Hills 100, and they have several distances. 50 miles is one. I'm like, dude, we gotta go run 50 miles. Are you in? And he's the same as me. He's sure. And I sold him 100% on, dude, you're going to drink some beer. You're going for a hike. We're going to eat some hot dogs. We're just chilling. Little did he know. But so, yeah, that was the first time I got into trying an ultra. And I was already in love with the sport, having just been around it for so long, and loved it even more when I started trail running myself. And this gradually evolved into Alan is like my ride or die run partner. We don't live near each other. He still lives in South Dakota, but I get back there for 4 or 5 races a year. He comes out to Colorado for 4 or 5 races a year. And we run these races generally together. And it's our time to bond and catch up and shoot the shit. And part of that is making fun of ourselves because we're not fast. We suffer. Like, we both enjoy the suffering part of ultra running, and we would just make jokes and talk about things that we find funny within the sport. And that evolved into saying, God, like, nobody really is celebrating some of these nuances. Nobody's really like poking fun of in a fun way, in a very irreverent way, and sharing stuff with people. So we're like, very early on, we're like, man, at some point we should start a company. We should like just make some t-shirts with some funny sayings on it. It could be really cool. We didn't really know what that was going to be at the time, but we talked about it for years, talked about it for probably 3 years before last year. I got into High Lonesome 100, and shout out to Caleb Efta and his crew. And Jeff, you'll appreciate this just because you put on some of the best races I've ever been to. Caleb's the same. It's unreal, the community that he's built around this race. But you have to qualify for it. Then you have to put in for a lottery. First time lottery entrant, I had the 6% chance of getting in, and I drew in, and I was scared shitless. I was like, this is a big time, big mountain, 100 miler. I've never done anything like this. What am I doing? And so I got into shape. I felt I was running a lot. I was in decent shape, but like I cut a lot of weight. I got my legs stronger for climbing. Anyways, I worked towards this 100 miler. And that happened last year. I went out hot, and that's my MO. I go out too hot and usually blow up. I got to a section climbing up the backside of purgatory. You're climbing to like half of this race is you're running over 10,000 feet. There's a couple of 13,000 foot climbs. It's high. The hardest section of the race, I had the biggest mental breakdown I've ever had. I've never been so low. As you know me, Jeff, I'm a very positive, outgoing, bright. Like I'm loud. I like to have fun. I was broken at this point. We death marched for 30 miles to the finish. From mile 70 to mile 100, I walked. I could not run. And the way that they helped get my mind back and bring my spirits up as we started brainstorming again and talking about this idea of what we've talked about for years and just the funny, irreverent, dumb shit that you go through while suffering running ultras. And it was at that point where we were finally like, all right, it's shit or get off the pot. Like, we've talked about this for so long that we have to put something into action. And so the race did that for us. We talked about it for the last 30 miles of the race. We came up with some of our core ideas and what our identity was going to be. It was Taylor that came up with the name because we were death marching in. What are we going to call this? He'd have the perfect name, Death March Running Company. And it was bingo. Yes, that makes sense. And then it was talking about what that means to us and what we want it to mean to the culture of ultra running and how we want to celebrate and embrace and just basically tell everybody how fucking badass you are for doing this. Whether you finish race or not, just putting in the effort and the time to train for it, to toe the line, just you are what inspires us, and we want to celebrate you. And so, yeah, we came home from that race, and I very quickly reached out to an artist that I'd been working with the company that I'm at now, and had an idea for what the original Death March logo, not logo, but design was going to be. And we wanted everything to be skeletons. We just love skeletons and running. But yeah, it was going to be a scene of some skeletons literally death marching through a desert in an ultra with a waist pack and some poles, and it just looks like they're suffering. And we got that first design not fully fleshed out, but when he sent us what the mock-up looked like, we were immediately in love. When we got the final product and we're like, all right, this is cool. We showed it to friends and family. And everyone's like, this is cool. We like this. What is it going to be? And it eventually evolved into series of different pieces of art, again, just making fun of or celebrating ultras. And when we launched it, the reception, I still pinch myself. I can't believe that we're this lucky that people really connect with it and love it and have fun with it just as much as we're having fun with it and want to wear it and talk about it and share it. It's been, I tell my wife, Hillary, all the time that I love running so much and I want to be a runner, but more than that, I want to be a part of the running community. And I want to create something for runners there. And this has allowed me to do it. Yeah, I'm tearing up. Jesus, it's been awesome. Yeah, I love it. I love the community and we've been having a lot of fun with it. So
what do you guys primarily do other than just celebrate? You guys put on events or is it just a brand?
Yeah, no, great questions. We're growing and changing. At first, the idea was races are expensive and we would like to create something to pay for our races. That's when we were joking about all these things. That's the idea was like, oh man, it'd be sweet to get payment for some of these 100-milers that cost $550. And that did quickly change to how can we create things that benefit runners? We're working on some products that we're working on some race singlets. We've got some 5-panel hats coming. We've got some soft flask water bottles that all have different art celebrating running. But so we have that aspect of it. We do partner with, we have one athlete, Mason Wright, buff runner, who is getting ready to run across America, and he's raising money for the Single Parent Project. So we're really trying to find these different causes that we can help support and get people's awareness onto it and hopefully raise some funds. You talked to Jeff about Andrew Glaze, who is a legend when it comes to ultra running. He has probably one of the longest 100-mile per week run streaks, 100 miles per week. He's been doing it for 4 years or something. I would have to look to tell you. It's insane. So we partnered with him.
Yeah. So this is a quick little thing about side note about Andrew Glaze. So Andrew he lives up in, I think, Riverside County, I think, and he's a fighter. Yep. And so to get some of his miles, he'll end up doing laps around the, like, where the station is, they've got like this small little like 1 or 2 mile loop that goes around their property. So he'll just go out and do, while nothing's going on, he'll just go out and do laps around until something happens. Good. And then they've got their training. How the fire departments usually have the training areas with the stairs and all that stuff. Yeah. So he'll go and include that into it. And it's ridiculous. The guy is legit.
The dude is
miles a week.
He's one of the nicest guys,
bro.
What's funny is he, on his Instagram, he weekly puts out a video of what are my haters saying? Because
I love that.
We constantly talk trash to him about running's gonna ruin your knees, or you're not a runner, you're a walker, or whatever. And he reads them out loud, and it's what Jimmy Fallon did, and they are hilarious. But
it's amazing.
It is. So we partnered with him.
To give him a shout out.
Yeah, he's a great dude. But we got to partner with him and raise money for the International Firefighters Foundation, which was pretty cool. And through a series that we created called Carnage Trail Kids, if you can remember the old Garbage Pail Kids, just dumb stickers with funny graphics. So we started one that we wanted to partner with people to raise awareness and raise money for organizations that they like and want to support. We do have, I can't tell you right now, I wish I could. Jeff actually knows. I did share this with Jeff, who our next Carnage Trail Kid is. And I will say that people are going to be pretty pumped, and we're very excited. We launched our card number 2 September 1st. But we're doing things outside of just creating product. We partnered with Jeff in sponsoring the Endurance Race Series. And like I said before, Jeff and this has the Endurance Race Series, races in Colorado, races in California. And I've been doing these races for years. And it's being a part of those races and going and seeing the community that you have created and help foster, from the runners that love you and go and run your races to the event staff to the volunteers. Again, that's why I want to be connected to run. It's those things, and it's finding people like you that help grow and foster that. And it's unlike anything I've ever been a part of. I absolutely love it. And so shout out to you and Endurance Race Series. But so we do partnerships like that and sponsorships. At some point, we will have our own race. I will say that. It will be 100-miler. But there's
a race director.
It is a very good thing.
How long has Death March been around?
We launched last November. So less than a year. And we're really only in 2 areas. We're on Instagram, which is where we post everything. And then we've got our website where we sell the product. And that's it. We grew, I feel fortunate, fairly quickly. Like I was saying, it seemed like it really resonated with a lot of people, and people the reception's been great. People have been sharing it. We are, I think, just shy of, I'd have to look, maybe 14,000 Instagram followers now. And so it's been fun. We've going back. I raced high-low 2 weeks ago, going back to the race that really kicked this off for us, wearing Death March gear, literally walk into Packet Pickup, and there's a guy just down this little hallway in the school, this DMRC, I love you guys. And I got to talk to him. I'm getting ready to race Leadville. I'm hooking my entire crew up with all of your gear. Like, it's so cool to see people recognize it and talk about it and share it and celebrate it with us. I think that is one of the coolest feelings. I think I'll never forget one of the first times I saw somebody wearing one of my race shirts down in fucking New Orleans. I was down there helping out Jelly Belly at the New Orleans Rock and Roll. Mm-hmm. And somebody came up to the booth wearing the Carmel Valley trail race shirt. And I was like, and I still remember this day. I was like, oh, that's cool. That's my race. And she's, yeah. Okay. I was so excited to see somebody wearing one of my shirts all the way from San Diego out in New Orleans that I didn't give any context to it. I was just like, oh, I love that. That's my race. And All right. Okay. Great. Oh, dude. Leave me alone. But that alone, I was like, okay, that I love seeing that, just because it's one of those things where now that I've been in this long enough, it's one of those things where
you get the more and more of the appreciation of when people are wearing your stuff, you're actually doing something, you're putting something out there that people want to wear.
Yeah.
And, or want to
be a part of.
Right. And I think that's really cool. And what is really interesting with Kody and the shirts is Kody actually transfers or screen prints those all in his house.
My basement is the warehouse / factory right now, which my wife Hillary absolutely loves. Yeah, I'm doing everything by hand. Yeah, so anybody that's listening that gets a package with a handwritten note, I touched every single piece of that. I pressed the shirt, I folded it, I wrote a card, I slipped it in, I drove it to the post office. Yeah. And again, I think it's a cool point.
Now that's small business right there.
That is small business. You're doing it all.
Yeah. Which is,
you got at some point, hopefully you guys can outsource that.
We're getting there. Yeah.
What are some of the things that you have taken from what you've learned at these marketing positions or these business positions that helps you out with Death March?
For sure. A couple of things. One is I didn't know that I could ever start my own business. It just seemed daunting and hard, and it seemed impossible. But asking for help, which is weirdly enough is sometimes hard for me, but asking for help from people that you know that are experienced, that have been through it, that have done something like that has helped me a ton. Yes, we still make mistakes. I will tell you last night, in fact, we just launched a new shirt with a cool ass women's graphic. It was going to be on 2 colorways. It only launched last night on 1 because one of the shirts, the transfer won't press onto it. I ruined 2 shirts, and it's like a learning process. So 1, ask for help. 2, don't be afraid to fail. I think I said that earlier. Just be willing to try. Now, I think we're fortunate in that our startup did not cost a lot of money to start up. And I think there's depending on what you're trying to do, it could be a very minimal cost like ours, or it could be very expensive. But just being willing to try things and fail. I look at my wife, she's started 2 different businesses, and one she had to raise money to start and launch. And she's been a pretty big inspiration for me and again, that goes into asking for help from people that are experienced. She's been a big inspiration on how to, And then we've been talking about this kind of all morning is put yourself out there, be willing to genuinely talk to people and connect to people and have real honest conversations. That has helped me here. That's helped me with Death March. So
be willing to say yes.
Be willing to say yes. You're not wrong. Yeah, you're not wrong there. The one thing that I would add is that I think people don't think about is check your ego. There is nothing that I will not do. Literally nothing. I will go and clean a fucking toilet. I will literally, it doesn't matter if a job needs to be done. I will do it. There's nothing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you are, what you're doing. Just check your ego, be willing to put in some work, right? And that will in itself just pay dividends for you.
I love that. You have to be able to do the things that you don't think. Check your ego is absolutely right. You got to be able to do the things all the things. It doesn't matter. People think you're the owner now. I'm like, yeah, but I fucking scrub toilets. I changed the freaking tissues in the dispenser. I vacuumed the gym last night. I was wiping down ski ergs and doing all that kind of shit. It doesn't matter. You do those things. Yeah. I think they make you great owners. 1, they make you great leaders. And it also is a representative of your brand. The fact that you got emotional while you were talking about Death March told me volumes of who you are, Kody. You're doing a good thing, man. You're doing a great thing.
I appreciate that. And I would say back at you, I see a lot of similarities. And it's been awesome. I really appreciate it. Thank you for having me on and the invite. It's been a good conversation. So.
This has been an international podcast transmission of No Fixed Agenda presented by Bubs Naturals. You can rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you find your favorite podcast episodes. NFA, over and out.